They told you that giving to others would make you happy. They told you that sacrificing your needs, your dreams, and even your voice was the way to be loved. But nobody told you the truth. You can pour your heart into the world and still end up empty if you don't first love yourself. Because the foundation of every dream, every relationship, every success story is not found in someone else's approval. It's built in the quiet moments when you choose yourself. When you choose to believe you are enough, even when nobody else tells you so. Loving yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. It's the air before the flight. It's the fuel before the journey. You cannot give love to the world if you are running on an empty tank. But how many of us have been running on empty for years? Giving, bending, sacrifice, and still feeling unseen, unappreciated, forgotten. You teach the world how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. Every action you take toward yourself, every word you speak inwardly, every boundary you do or don't set is a message to others about how they are allowed to interact with you. It's not something most of us realize at first. We believe that respect, love, and kindness are things that others should simply offer because they are right. And while it's true that we all deserve to be treated well, the reality is people often take cues from you about how far they can go, how deeply they can care, and how much they must respect your presence. If you consistently neglect your own needs, if you treat yourself like an afterthought, it silently grants permission for the world to do the same. When you constantly put others ahead of yourself without consideration for your own well-being, it sends a message that your time, your energy, your heart are not valuable. When you allow yourself to be overworked, overlooked, or mistreated without standing up for yourself, you are showing others that you are willing to accept less than you deserve. And once the world sees that you accept less, many will offer you exactly that. Less respect, less kindness, less value. It's not always because people are cruel. It's often because humans naturally mirror the energy they are given. If you act as if your needs are not important, others pick up on that energy and mirror it back. The standards you set for yourself create the blueprint for the standards others will follow. If you expect loyalty, you must first be loyal to yourself. If you want honesty from others, you must be honest with yourself about what you want, what you need, and what you are willing to accept. If you desire love, it must begin with the love you extend inward, the way you hold yourself on your bad days, the way you forgive yourself when you stumble, the way you celebrate yourself when you succeed. People observe these things often unconsciously. They learn how to value you by watching how you value yourself. Every moment you compromise your worth for the comfort of others, every time you silence your truth to maintain peace, every time you choose to tolerate behavior that hurts you, you are training the world to believe you are willing to live without your dignity. And the heartbreaking part is, you are the one who must live with the consequences of that choice long after the other person has walked away. This doesn't mean you have to walk around demanding things loudly or being aggressive about your worth. True self-respect is often silent. It's in the way you say no without a second thought. It's in the way you walk away from places where you are not respected. It's in the way you honor your commitments to yourself, even when nobody else is watching. It's quiet strength, not loud bravado. It's a firm inner knowing that says, I am valuable, even if you don't recognize it. When you elevate the way you treat yourself, you naturally elevate the way others treat you. Your energy shifts. You no longer attract people who are looking for someone they can easily use or control. Instead, you attract people who recognize your worth, who respect your boundaries, who appreciate your presence without needing you to shrink to make them comfortable. Loving yourself, respecting yourself, and valuing yourself acts like a filter. It automatically weeds out those who are not ready, willing, or capable of meeting you at the level you deserve. It's important to understand that setting this standard starts from within. You don't need to wait for someone else to validate you before you decide to validate yourself. You don't need to be treated better first before you decide you deserve better. You have the power to set the tone for your life at any moment. starting with how you view and treat yourself. If you consistently choose yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of a deep understanding of your worth, the world eventually adjusts to your energy. It won't always happen instantly. Some people will resist. Some people will leave. Some environments will push back because they've benefited from you undervaluing yourself. But in the long run, what you lose in false connections, you will gain back 1,000 times over in peace, authenticity, and genuine relationship. Teaching the world how to treat you is not about controlling others. It's about being so rooted in your own self-love that mistreatment becomes instantly recognizable and completely unacceptable. It's about understanding that you set the price for how others interact with you. And if you price yourself low, you will attract bargain seekers. If you price yourself high, if you recognize your rare value, you will only attract those willing to invest the time, the respect, and the love that you deserve. Loving yourself is not selfish. It's necessary for survival and success. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that choosing ourselves, prioritizing our needs, and honoring our feelings were acts of selfishness. We were conditioned to believe that love was only real if it came with sacrifice, if it meant putting others first at all times, if it demanded that we place ourselves at the bottom of every priority list. But this belief is not only false, it is dangerous. When you consistently abandon yourself in the name of serving others, you begin to erode the very foundation you need to live, thrive, and give authentically to the world around you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lift others up when you are too exhausted to stand. You cannot shine a light for anyone else if your own flame is burnt out. Self-love is not about building walls to keep people out. It's about building strength within yourself so you have the capacity to truly connect, to genuinely offer, to sincerely uplift without resentment, depletion, or hidden expectations. When you love yourself, you create an internal reservoir of energy, peace, and resilience. You are no longer giving to others because you need their approval to feel worthy. You are giving because you are already full, already validated, already rooted in the truth that you are enough just as you are. You are operating from a place of abundance, not desperation. When you neglect your own needs, when you silence your own voice, if you dismiss your own dreams in order to keep others comfortable, you are not doing anyone a favor. In fact, you are teaching those around you that it's acceptable to expect more from you than you have to give. You are teaching them that your boundaries can be crossed, that your emotions can be disregarded, that your spirit can be drained for their convenience. Over time, this leads to bitterness, resentment, and deep inner exhaustion. Relationships built on self-abandonment are ticking time bombs. They might look peaceful on the outside for a while, but inside, the person who is constantly giving without receiving is breaking, crumbling, losing pieces of themselves just to hold everything together. Choosing yourself is not a betrayal of others. It is an act of honesty, clarity, and courage. When you love yourself first, you are showing up in the world from a place of wholeness. You are telling the truth about what you can give, what you need, and where your limits lie. You are creating space for relationships that are built on mutual respect rather than one-sided sacrifice. You are offering others the opportunity to know the real you, not the version of you that exists solely to meet their expectations. The most successful, impactful, and joyful people in the world are not the ones who have sacrificed themselves to please everyone around them. They are the ones who have dared to honor their own worth, even when it was unpopular, even when it meant disappointing people, even when it required walking away from places where their authenticity was not welcome. They have understood that the only way to truly serve others is to first serve the soul that carries their dreams, their voice, and their power. Self-love is a daily practice. It's not a one-time declaration. It's found in the choices you make when no one is watching, the choice to rest when you are tired, the choice to say no when your spirit says enough, the choice to speak kindly to yourself after a mistake, the choice to celebrate your small wins instead of waiting for external validation. Every time you choose yourself in these quiet, seemingly insignificant moments, you are reinforcing the truth that your existence matters. You are building a life that is aligned with your true purpose rather than shaped by the shifting demands of everyone around you. It's important to recognize that people who benefit from your self-neglect will often call you selfish when you begin to prioritize yourself. They will accuse you of changing, of becoming distant, of no longer being as available as you once were, and they will be right. You are changing. You are evolving into a version of yourself that understands that love should not cost your peace, your dreams, or your soul. You are learning that your first responsibility is not to make others comfortable, but to honor the life that was entrusted to you. In loving yourself first, you give others permission to do the same. You become an example of what it looks like to move through the world with self-respect, dignity, and unshakable inner strength. You show your children, your friends, your community that it is not only okay, but essential to care for yourself without apology. You break the cycle of self-abandonment that so many have been trapped in for generations. There will be moments when choosing yourself feels uncomfortable, even painful. There will be times when you are misunderstood, criticized, or even left behind by those who preferred the version of you that prioritized their needs above your own. But with time, you will realize that the peace, clarity, and self-ownership you gain are far more valuable than any approval you lose. You will look in the mirror and see someone who is not only surviving, but thriving, someone who is no longer waiting for others to give them permission to exist, to dream, to shine. Self-love requires setting strong boundaries without guilt. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. When you create boundaries, you are not being harsh, unkind, or selfish. You are being clear about what is acceptable and what is not in your life. You are defining the space in which you can thrive. Without boundaries, you lose yourself trying to please, accommodate, and rescue others at the expense of your own peace. Without boundaries, your life becomes an open invitation for chaos, disrespect, and emotional exhaustion. Many people struggle to set boundaries because they are afraid of how others will react. They fear being called selfish, rude, or difficult. They worry that if they say no, people will leave, criticize, or resent them. But the truth is, anyone who is genuinely meant for your life will respect the lines you draw to protect your well-being. Those who cannot handle your boundaries are often the ones who were benefiting from your lack of them. They were comfortable taking from you without giving, comfortable asking too much without considering your needs, comfortable relying on your silence to continue behavior that harmed you. When you begin to set boundaries, it disrupts that comfort. It demands a new level of respect, a new level of balance. Setting a boundary is an act of self-love because it declares that your needs, your feelings, and your time are just as important as anyone else's. It shows that you value your emotional health enough to protect it. It teaches others that while you may be kind, you are not a doormat. That while you may be generous, you are not endlessly available. That while you may care deeply, you will not sacrifice yourself to be accepted. Every time you set a boundary, you reinforce the truth that you are not here to shrink yourself for others' convenience. It is not your job to manage other people's feelings about your boundaries. It is not your responsibility to make sure everyone is comfortable with the fact that you now prioritize your peace. You are allowed to say no without explaining yourself. You are allowed to walk away from conversations that drain you. You are allowed to leave relationships that demand you betray yourself to maintain them. You are allowed to choose yourself. Even when it disappoints others, even when it means being misunderstood, even when it means standing alone for a while, guilt often accompanies boundary setting, especially when you are not used to prioritizing yourself. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you are hurting people by choosing yourself, that you are selfish for needing space, that you are mean for saying no. But guilt is not always an indicator that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes it is just a sign that you are doing something different. something necessary, something healing. It is the growing pain of becoming someone who refuses to live at the mercy of others' expectations. The key to overcoming this guilt is to remember why you are setting boundaries in the first place. You are not doing it to hurt others. You are doing it to protect yourself. You are doing it so you can show up in the world as your best, healthiest, most authentic self. You are doing it because you understand that a life without boundaries is not a life of love. It's a life of resentment, exhaustion, and quiet desperation. And you deserve so much more than that. It's also important to understand that boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They are about saying yes to yourself. Yes to your peace. Yes to your growth. Yes to your dreams. Yes to your healing. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you are saying yes to something that fulfills you. Every time you walk away from a situation that dishonors you, you are walking toward a future that uplifts you. You are not responsible for fixing others, saving them, or making their journey easier at the cost of your own soul. You are responsible for honoring the life you were given. You are responsible for making sure that you are not carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours. You are responsible for creating a space around you where love, respect, and kindness are the minimum standard, not optional luxuries. People who truly love you, people who truly value you, will celebrate your boundaries because they will understand that healthy relationships require them. They will not guilt you, manipulate you, or punish you for protecting your peace. Instead, they will rise to meet you where you are. They will adjust, grow, and evolve alongside you. And those who cannot handle your boundaries will reveal themselves, not as your tribe, but as the lessons you needed to learn to love yourself more fiercely. Setting boundaries is not about building a life free from discomfort. Pay that 4X. It is about building a life where you are no longer willing to suffer unnecessarily. It is about choosing the discomfort of disappointing others over the deep, soul-wrenching pain of constantly disappointing yourself. It is about trusting that your worth is not tied to how much you sacrifice, how much you give, or how much you endure. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and not up for negotiation. Healing from past wounds is one of the greatest acts of self-love you will ever commit to. Carrying the pain of your past into your present and future only keeps you trapped in cycles of self-doubt, fear, and unworthiness. Many people think that ignoring their wounds, pushing them deep down, pretending they don't exist, is the strong thing to do. But true strength is found not in pretending you are unbroken, but in facing your brokenness with courage and compassion. It's in allowing yourself to feel the weight of your pain so you can finally set it down. It's in choosing to heal, not because it's easy or comfortable, but because you deserve to be free. Healing is messy. It's not a straight line or a neatly organized journey. It's filled with setbacks, emotions you thought you had buried, and moments where you question if you are making any progress at all. But every step you take toward healing is a declaration that you believe your life is worth fighting for. Every time you choose to confront your wounds. Instead of running from them, you are affirming your own worth. You are telling yourself that your happiness matters, your peace matters, your future matters. Loving yourself means refusing to let your past define you. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the things that happened to you. You are not the hurtful words that others spoke over you. You are not the dreams that didn't come true or the relationships that ended in heartbreak. You are not your failures or your fears. You are something far greater than all of those things combined. You are the hope that refused to die inside you. You are the strength that kept getting up every time life knocked you down. You are the light that continued to flicker even in the darkest seasons of your life. Healing requires forgiveness. Not always for others, but for yourself, forgiving yourself for the times you didn't know better, for the times you stayed too long, for the times you gave too much, for the times you let fear, loneliness, or insecurity guide your choices. Self-forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or pretending your choices didn't have consequences. It's about understanding that you did the best you could with the tools, knowledge, and emotional capacity you had at the time. It's about releasing the shame that keeps you stuck in the past so you can move forward with wisdom, grace, and a deeper commitment to honoring yourself. There will be moments when the old wounds try to pull you back, when the pain resurfaces unexpectedly, when the memories feel as raw as they did the first time. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means no longer allowing your past to control your present. It means being able to acknowledge your pain without letting it define your worth or your future. It means standing tall in the face of your history and saying, yes, these things happened, but they do not own me anymore. I own myself. Part of healing is learning to trust yourself again. Trauma and pain often leave deep scars of self-doubt. They whisper lies that you cannot be trusted to make good decisions, that you will always choose wrong, that you are destined for more heartbreak. But loving yourself demands that you rebuild that trust, that you listen to your intuition, your inner wisdom, your soul's quiet guidance, that you believe in your ability to protect yourself, to choose wisely, to create a future that is not a repeat of your past. You may have been broken, but you are not beyond repair. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived. Every healed wound is a testament to your resilience. Every time you chose to hope, to dream, to love again, you were refusing to let your pain have the final word. Healing doesn't erase your past. It transforms your relationship with it. It turns your pain into purpose, your wounds into wisdom, your brokenness into a source of unshakable strength. Healing yourself is the greatest gift you can give to your future self. It is the foundation upon which you can build a life of true love, joy, and fulfillment. It is the soil in which your dreams can finally take root and grow. When you heal, you are no longer operating from survival mode. You are no longer reacting to life from a place of fear or scarcity. You are able to make choices from a place of love, clarity, and inner peace. You are able to connect with others in a way that is healthy, vibrant, and life-giving. Self-love demands that you stop waiting for someone else to come and fix you. It demands that you take your healing into your own hands, that you stop looking to others to fill the voids within you, that you become your own hero. No one else can walk this journey for you. No one else can feel your pain, carry your burdens, or heal your wounds. This is your work, and it is sacred. It is the work of reclaiming your life, your worth, your joy. It is the work of remembering who you were before the world told you to be someone else. It is the work of choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when it feels like you are walking through fire. Prioritizing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being is a radical act of self-love that many overlook in their pursuit of success, approval, or even survival. In a world that glorifies hustle, sacrifice, and constant availability, taking care of yourself can feel selfish or indulgent, but it is neither. It is essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot show up fully for your dreams, your relationships, or your responsibilities if you are constantly running on fumes. Prioritizing your well-being is not about abandoning your ambitions or isolating yourself from the world. It's about making sure that you have the strength, clarity, and vitality to thrive in every area of your life. Loving yourself means listening to your body when it asks for rest instead of pushing it beyond its limits to meet unrealistic expectations. It means feeding your mind with positivity, knowledge, and inspiration instead of drowning it in negativity, comparison, and fear. It means being aware of what depletes you and what energizes you, and making conscious choices that honor your energy. It's about creating a life where your health, both mental and physical, is not an afterthought, but a foundation. Your emotional well-being matters just as much as your physical health. Ignoring your feelings, bottling them up, or pretending they don't exist does not make you strong. It makes you brittle. It builds pressure inside you that will eventually erupt in ways you cannot control. Prioritizing your emotional health means acknowledging your feelings without judgment. It means allowing yourself to cry when you need to process anger without shame, to grieve your losses fully, and to celebrate your joys unapologetically. It means creating space for your emotions to exist without fearing that they make you weak or unstable. Emotions are not the enemy. Unprocessed emotions are. Allowing yourself to feel Mental well-being is just as critical. Your mind is the lens through which you see the world. And if that lens is clouded by negativity, self-doubt, and exhaustion, then no amount of external success will bring you peace. Prioritizing your mental health means protecting your mind from the things that poison it. It means being mindful of the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the self-talk you indulge. It means replacing patterns of rumination and anxiety with practices that ground you, uplift you, and reconnect you with your inner strength. Meditation, journaling, therapy, meaningful conversations, and time spent in nature are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Physical well-being is deeply connected to your ability to love yourself. Taking care of your body is not about achieving a certain look or fitting into society's standards of beauty. It's about honoring the vessel that carries you through this life. It's about moving your body because you love it, not because you hate it. It's about nourishing yourself with food that energizes you, moving in ways that feel joyful, and resting when you need to. It's about understanding that your body is not an ornament for display, but a powerful, sacred home that deserves care, respect, and gratitude. Setting boundaries around your time and energy is one of the most powerful ways to prioritize your well-being. You are not obligated to attend every event, answer every message immediately, or say yes to every request. Your time is precious. Your energy is sacred. You are allowed to guard it fiercely. Saying no to things that drain you is saying yes to your well-being. Creating a schedule that includes time for rest, play, creativity, and solitude is not laziness. It is wisdom. It is understanding that you are not a machine and you do not exist to constantly produce, perform, and please. There will always be demands on your time, your attention, and your energy. There will always be people who need you, tasks that call you, expectations that weigh on you. But you must learn to discern what truly deserves your precious resources and what does not. You must be willing to disappoint others at times to remain true to yourself. You must be willing to be misunderstood, criticized, and even judged in order to protect your health, because the alternative, abandoning yourself to keep everyone else happy, is a slow, painful death of the spirit. Prioritizing your well-being also means surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, not those who drain you. It means choosing relationships that nourish your soul, inspire your growth, and respect your boundaries. It means walking away from toxicity, manipulation, and constant negativity without guilt or apology. You deserve relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, support, and love, not obligation, fear, or habit. Taking care of yourself is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. It is a series of small choices that add up over time. Choosing sleep over scrolling, choosing a walk over a worry spiral, choosing a nourishing meal over mindless snacking, choosing a deep conversation over surface-level gossip. It's about tuning in to what you need in each moment and giving yourself permission to meet those needs without shame or hesitation. You are worthy of the same care, attention, and compassion that you so willingly give to others. You are worthy of a life where you are not constantly surviving, but actually thriving. Setting healthy boundaries is a profound way of showing yourself love and respect. Without boundaries, you invite chaos, resentment, and exhaustion into your life. You allow others to dictate your emotions, your time, and your energy, leaving you feeling powerless and depleted. Boundaries are not about keeping people out. They are about protecting what's sacred within you. They are about teaching others how you deserve to be treated, not through anger or control, but through clarity and self-respect. Every time you set a boundary, you affirm to yourself that your needs, your feelings, and your well-being matter just as much as anyone else's. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection, conflict, or being seen as selfish. They believe that saying yes to everyone is a sign of kindness, when in reality, it often stems from fear. fear of not being liked, fear of losing relationships, fear of being misunderstood. But loving yourself means recognizing that your worth is not dependent on how much you tolerate or how much you sacrifice for others. You are not here to make everyone comfortable at the expense of your own peace. You are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions or fixing their problems. Your primary responsibility is to protect your own heart, mind, and spirit so that you can live authentically and love freely without resentment. Healthy boundaries create clarity in your relationships. They reveal who truly values you and who only values what you can do for them. When you begin to set limits, you might notice some people pulling away, reacting with anger, guilt, tripping you, or accusing you of changing. Let them. Their reaction is not a reflection of your wrongness. It is a reflection of their dependence on your lack of boundaries. Real love, real friendship, real connection will never require you to abandon yourself. Those who genuinely care for you will respect your boundaries, even if they don't fully understand them at first. They will recognize that your ability to say no is what makes your yes genuine, meaningful, and powerful. Boundaries are an act of maturity. They are about knowing where you end and where someone else begins. They are about taking ownership of your own life instead of blaming others for overstepping when you never spoke up. Loving yourself requires the courage to have difficult conversations, to say what you mean without apologizing for it, and to enforce your limits consistently, even when it's uncomfortable. Every time you honor your boundary, you strengthen your relationship with yourself. You build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you will not abandon your own needs just to keep someone else happy. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others. It's also about saying no to your own harmful patterns. It's about recognizing when you are overextending yourself, people-pleasing, or staying in situations that drain you. It's about catching yourself before you slip back into old habits of self-betrayal. It's about holding yourself accountable for protecting your energy and choosing self-respect over momentary approval. It's about realizing that you are worthy of relationships that do not require you to shrink, to compromise your values, or to live in constant anxiety. Boundaries also extend to how you treat yourself. It's about creating limits around negative self-talk, perfectionism, procrastination, and behaviors that sabotage your growth. It's about noticing when you are crossing your own boundaries, when you are allowing fear to drive your decisions, when you are letting guilt dictate your actions instead of your true desire. How you prioritize your time, and how you pursue your dreams. It means refusing to let your inner critic bully you into smallness and instead choosing to nurture an inner voice that is loving, encouraging, and wise. It is important to remember that boundaries are not walls. They are not meant to isolate you from connection, but to create space for authentic, healthy connection to flourish. When you have clear boundaries, you show up in your relationships with more love, more patience, and more presence because you are not carrying hidden resentment, exhaustion, or fear. You are able to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. You can love others more freely because you are no longer loving them at the expense of yourself. Boundaries are a living practice. They evolve as you grow, as your needs change, as your understanding of yourself deepens. What was acceptable to you yesterday may no longer be acceptable today, and that's okay. Growth is not static. As you learn more about yourself, as you heal, as you dream bigger and love deeper, your boundaries will naturally shift to reflect the new standards you have for your life. Loving yourself means honoring that evolution instead of clinging to outdated versions of yourself or your relationships. You will find that as you become more skilled at setting boundaries, you attract different experiences into your life. You attract people who value and respect you, opportunities that align with your worth, and a life that feels more peaceful, empowering, and true. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling the energy you allow into your life. They are a declaration that you are worthy of peace, respect, and joy. They are a powerful way of saying to the world and to yourself, I know my value, and I will no longer settle for less than I deserve. Embracing your imperfections is one of the most liberating acts of self-love you can ever perform. In a world that constantly demands perfection, that highlights only curated snapshots of people's lives, and that celebrates flawlessness over authenticity, daring to be imperfect is an act of rebellion and a testament to your inner strength. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real, to be human, to be beautifully flawed and endlessly evolving. Your imperfections are not mistakes. They are marks of your uniqueness, your struggles, your growth, and your incredible resilience. When you constantly chase perfection, you trap yourself in an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be something that feels missing, something that feels not good enough. You will keep raising the bar higher and higher, thinking that once you reach a certain point, you will finally be worthy of love, respect, and happiness. But that day never comes because the goalpost of perfection is always moving. Perfection is an illusion, a mirage that keeps you running but never lets you arrive. Loving yourself means stepping out of that exhausting race and embracing the glorious, messy, beautiful reality of who you are right here and right now. Your imperfections are not barriers to love. They are bridges to deeper connection. When you allow yourself to be seen as you truly are, flawed, vulnerable, growing, you invite others to do the same. You create spaces where authenticity is valued over performance, where people can lay down their masks and breathe. You show others that it is safe to be real, to be human, to be imperfect, and in doing so, you attract relationships that are based on truth, not pretense, on acceptance, not condition. The more you embrace your own imperfections, the more compassion you develop for yourself and for everyone around you. Perfectionism is often rooted in fear, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. It is a desperate attempt to control how the world sees you, to shield yourself from judgment, to prove your worth through external achievements. But the truth is, you do not have to earn your worth. You were born worthy. Your value is intrinsic, not conditional. No amount of achievements, awards, praise, or admiration can add to your worth, and no amount of mistakes, failures, or shortcomings can diminish it. You are worthy simply because you exist, and nothing you do or fail to do can ever change that truth. Embracing your imperfections means allowing yourself to be a work in progress. It means celebrating growth over perfection, effort over flawlessness, resilience over invincibility. It means being proud of yourself, not because you have achieved some impossible ideal, but because you keep showing up, you keep trying, you keep learning. It means forgiving yourself for your mistakes, for your wrong turns, for your missteps, and recognizing that each stumble is a part of your journey, not a condemnation of your character. You are not meant to have it all figured out. You are not meant to be flawless at everything you do. You are not meant to never feel fear or doubt or sadness. These experiences are a part of the human condition. They are signals, not failures. They are opportunities for growth, for deeper understanding, for greater empathy. Every crack in you lets the light in. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every imperfection adds depth, texture, and richness to the masterpiece that is your life. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to take risks, to pursue dreams, to live boldly and authentically. You stop waiting until you feel completely ready, completely confident, completely flawless before taking action. You understand that readiness is a myth and that growth happens through action, not through endless preparation. You allow yourself to start messy, to learn on the go, to evolve in real time. You stop holding your life hostage to an impossible standard and start living it fully, fiercely, and joyfully. You also begin to experience a deeper sense of peace. When you are no longer battling yourself, when you are no longer trying to edit, hide, or fix every perceived flaw, you create space for self-compassion, for acceptance, for inner freedom. You realize that you are not broken, you are becoming. You realize that the very things you once thought made you unworthy are the things that make you relatable, lovable, and real. You understand that true beauty lies not surrounding yourself with positive influences is one of the most critical aspects of truly loving yourself. The people you allow into your life, the environments you spend time in, and the energy you absorb daily all contribute to the way you see yourself and the way you move through the world. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, by people who belittle your dreams, by voices that criticize rather than uplift, it becomes incredibly difficult to nurture a strong sense of self-worth. You may find yourself shrinking, doubting, and questioning your own value, not because you are lacking, but because the energy around you is toxic. Loving yourself means being fiercely protective of your environment, choosing to align yourself with people, spaces, and influences that inspire you to be your highest and most authentic self. Positive influences are not just people who are always cheerful or who tell you what you want to hear. They are individuals who believe in your potential, who challenge you to grow, who support your dreams without resentment, and who remind you of your worth when you forget. They are people who celebrate your successes without envy, who listen without judgment, and who speak life into your aspirations. They are people who understand that real support sometimes means offering honest feedback, but always with love and with the intention of building you up, not tearing you down. Surrounding yourself with these kinds of people is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who is serious about personal growth and self-love. Sometimes choosing positive influences means making difficult decisions. It might mean distancing yourself from friends you've known for years if they consistently drain your energy or undermine your confidence. It might mean stepping away from family members who impose their fears and limitations onto you. It might mean saying no to environments that encourage small-minded thinking, gossip, drama, and negativity. It might mean walking alone for a while until you find your tribe, your people, who see you, who understand you, and who encourage your light to shine brighter rather than trying to dim it. This is not selfishness. This is self-preservation. It is understanding that you cannot heal, grow, or thrive in an environment that poisons your spirit. Choosing positive influences also extends beyond your immediate relationships. It's about being intentional with what you consume daily. The books you read, the shows you watch, the music you listen to, the content you scroll through on social media, all of it shapes your mindset, your beliefs, and your emotional state. If you feed your mind constant negativity, comparison, fear, and drama, it will be nearly impossible to maintain a strong foundation of self-love. But if you fill your mind with messages of empowerment, hope, wisdom, and encouragement, you build an inner environment that nourishes your spirit and reinforces your worth. Being mindful of what you consume is an act of self-respect. It's recognizing that your mind is fertile ground and what you plant there will inevitably grow. Positive influences act like mirrors, reflecting back to you the strength, beauty, and potential you sometimes forget you possess. They remind you of who you are when the world tries to tell you otherwise. They hold space for your dreams. They stand by you during your failures, and they cheer for you even when you are too tired to cheer for yourself. They don't compete with you. They rise with you. They don't resent your growth. They celebrate it. And when you falter, they don't abandon you. They reach out their hand and lift you up. This is the kind of energy you deserve to be surrounded by because it affirms the love you are learning to cultivate within yourself. Sometimes you must first become your own positive influence before you can attract others who align with that energy. You must become the voice that speaks encouragement instead of criticism. You must become the person who believes in your dreams even when others don't understand them. You must become the source of positivity, resilience, and hope that you seek. When you embody the energy you want to attract, you naturally begin to draw in relationships and opportunities that reflect and amplify that energy. Like attracts like. When you love yourself enough to maintain high standards for the energy you allow into your life, you create a powerful ripple effect that transforms every area of your existence. Choosing positive influences is a daily, conscious decision. It requires vigilance, courage, and sometimes painful honesty. It means regularly checking in with yourself and asking, does this person, this environment, this content make me feel more alive, more empowered, more connected to my true self? If the answer is consistently no, it's a sign to reevaluate. Your time, your energy, and your heart are precious resources. You owe it to yourself to invest them wisely. You owe it to yourself to build a life where your spirit can thrive rather than merely survive. When you prioritize positive influences, you create a supportive ecosystem around you, an environment where your dreams are nurtured, where your growth is celebrated, where your authenticity is honored. You give yourself the space to heal, to grow, to stretch beyond what you once thought was possible. You start to see yourself through the eyes of love, encouragement, and possibility, because that is the energy you're immersed in daily. And over time, you realize that the quality of your life is directly linked to the quality of the influences you allow into it. Loving yourself means refusing to settle for environments, relationships, or energies that make you doubt your worth. It means choosing every single day to surround yourself with light, hope, and unwavering support because you deserve nothing less. If you forget everything else, remember this: you are the love you have been waiting for. You are the answer you have been seeking. You are the hero you have been searching for. And it all begins the moment you finally, fearlessly, unapologetically love yourself first.